With all that's going on the outside world, when was the last time you actually did something for yourself without feeling guilty? There's so many stresses and pulls and sways that we have to deal with as women, especially as women, that it's really hard sometimes to actually stand up for ourselves. And that's what it is. It's standing up for ourselves and saying, actually, I am putting myself first. I don't care what anybody else thinks about it. So you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a partner, you're a granddaughter, you're a auntie, you're a co-worker, you're a church representative, you are a colleague, you're all these things. All of these things take your time. All the people within these things take your time. But how do you put yourself first without feeling guilty? But hold on. Before we actually dive into my tips, I want you to know you are worthy of love, care and attention. But I don't mean from anybody else. I mean you are worthy of love, care and attention from yourself. We're not looking outside for any of these things. We're looking inside. So if you're ready and you believe you are worthy of all of those things, put hashtag worthy in the comments below. And then let's get to the tips. Tip 1, why do we feel guilty if we decide that we're actually going to say no to somebody or something or whatever it is? And we say it, but in our mind, there's that chit chat of thinking, oh my God, they're going to think this, or oh my God, they're going to think that, or, you know, what have I done? Have I missed an opportunity? Have I missed this or that? That guilt is messaging. That's what I think. It's a messaging. It's like saying, okay, so I can only be worthy, or my self-worth is built on what I do for other people. We can't live our lives like that. At the end of the day, feeling that you have to take care of everybody and everything around you is something that as a society has been a label for all women. That guilt comes by us thinking that if we don't do those things for those people, especially those people that we love, they are going to think we don't love them. But to be honest, a lot of us will do things out of the guilt and be resentful to that person or that thing that we're actually trying to help. So I think addressing why you feel guilty about saying no to certain things, because I'll be honest, there's certain times you could say no to something and you're not feeling no guilt. So what's the difference between that thing and something that you might feel guilty about? Having a deeper dive inside your own emotions and your own kind of triggers and connections. Think about what it is about saying no or doing something that you might then bring up all those emotions about how other people see you. Might affect you in one situation, but it won't affect you in another. And the reason why it's important to just try and go deeper and work out those feelings is because you have to realize that you cannot live your life thinking that your feelings and your self-care and your need to look after yourself is less important than other people's. Because although other people might not really intend for that feeling to arise, that is kind of how we live, and that's how we interpret things. So make sure that, you know, you assess that and you speak to them clearly and concisely and openly the reasons why you can't do something, and it does not mean that you do not love them or care for them or you can't do it at another point or time, but right now it's all about you. Tip number 2 is assessing your own needs. Putting yourself first without feeling guilty is all about really understanding what your needs are at that certain point in time. You know, it could be something, you might be, say you're a member of a community group, or you're a member of a church, you're a member of a friendship group, and you've got these routines that you do. So every week you might do something, every month you might meet up. There might be a time where that event is coming up and you really need to assess whether going to that event is going to be a benefit or is going to be kind of disempowering in terms of what you need at that point in time. You have to really tap in to your own rhythms and your own needs and your own wants in order to make sure that when you're accepting or committing to things, that it's also serving you. Yes, service is a great thing. Service is a thing that we all should subscribe to because it makes the world a better place. But serving yourself must come first, because you need to be able to give. And being able to give, make sure it's something that makes you feel happy, energized and fulfilled. If these things on some days or sometimes during your normal commitments, you're not feeling it, you're just not feeling it, don't go. Say no. Sorry, not this week, but I'll definitely see you next week, and take that time, that break away to actually do the things that gives you that zest for life, that gives you that energy to be there and be focused and be in the moment when you're with whoever you're with, so that you're not thinking about the things that you could have dealt with a week ago by not going. Another tip about putting yourself first without feeling guilty is understanding and making some really clear boundaries. A lot of people, especially family members and even close friends, sometimes overstep boundaries. And to be honest, they're not even overstepping boundaries they're aware of, because we might have boundaries that we haven't even communicated to the people around us. So in order to feel not guilty about putting yourself first, you have to be really clear about the boundaries that you have for certain people in your life. And the boundaries with your families, co-worker, communities, friends and stuff might all be different, but it's really important to be clear about what those boundaries are with each individual entity or person, so that when you are saying no to certain requests, actually they might turn around and laugh and say, actually, yeah, I get it. I've gone across your boundaries. You already told me and communicated what you are willing to do, when you're willing to do it, and I'm trying to push for more. I apologize. Or you might not get that kind of positive response, but at least they know you told them, this is where we go. This is my boundaries as to what I can give or what I can commit to. And it's up to them to either find someone else to do it or give you the space to do what you need to do in order for when you meet up or you're ready, you can address it and attack it in the best way you know how, and both of you will win. Making sure that you are clear and communicate your boundaries, which I know is really hard. And it's so funny because, you know, children, especially toddlers, are quite clear about their boundaries. They know they don't want to go to bed. They don't want to brush their teeth, and they're quite clear about telling you and stomping their feet and telling you, I am not up for this. I am not willing to do this. As women, especially women who have raised kids, had careers and stuff, we get to a point where I got to my point in my own 40s where, you know what, really communicating my boundaries I found really hard, because I just made it where people just expected certain things. And when I started to reassess my own life and started to think about actually what I needed, what fulfilled me, what gave me joy or energized me, a lot of the time it wasn't the things that I was actually doing. So when it came time for me to start stepping back from those things that I was doing, a lot of people would be like, what's up with you? And it caused a little bit of friction, both in my relationships and all kinds of things. But I had to live for me. And it's time we all started living for ourselves without the guilt of thinking that we're being selfish, okay? It's not about selfish. We can't give if we have nothing to give towards. Tip number 4 about putting yourself first without feeling guilty is to remember to give yourself some grace and some self-compassion. It's not your job to fulfill everybody else's needs. Your job is to fill your own needs first before you can actually give full-heartedly, without resentment, without friction to anybody else. So have some grace with yourself, and even laugh about it. Sometimes when you say no to someone and you catch yourself thinking, oh God, that's going to cause a problem in a few days, or I bet you're going to phone up and speak to, I don't know, Karen and say, guess what Chantel did? We had this arrangement and Chantel said no, and now, and it's all of those. Have a laugh about it. Think, you know what? Let them yappa, yappa, yappa. Right now, I am here indulging in making myself feel good about myself, making myself realign and reset, and making myself just focus on actually working towards all the things that I actually need to do in order to become a better person. Putting yourself first will actually help you become a better person, because it reduces the amount of times you might be doing things that you don't want to do, and actually building up a level of and I've used this word a lot, resentment and just annoyance and even aggressiveness to somebody else when they come and you know that this person is coming, and it just brings up all this anxiety because they're going to ask you to do something and you already know you don't want to do it, but you can't say no. So have some grace with yourself when you are feeling guilty about putting yourself first. At the end of the day, you are the one that will benefit from being front and center in your own story. So I totally understand putting yourself first without feeling guilty can be quite a challenging task. But I want you to just start small using some of the tips I've just shared with you, and just do it on a day-to-day basis. You know what? Considering I said about love, care and attention from yourself, think about the things that give yourself love. Think about the things that you need to care for yourself. Think about the attention that you need to put on yourself that you can kind of incorporate during your day. These things don't need permission or acceptance from anybody else. They just need you to accept that you are worthy of it. And I believe that you are. So if you again are believing that you are too, make sure you put worthy down in the comments, and I look forward to hearing about all the ways that you've put yourself first without feeling guilty. Hi there, I'm Chantel and welcome to my Brazen World, where I help women over 40 believe, plan and live the life they truly desire. If it's your first time here, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check the description box below to grab your worksheet to begin your own brazen journey.